Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Raw Life. This is John Ravenwolf. How's it going, gang? Happy Friday coming into the Labor Day weekend. And if you want to do some fishing, I've got something for you today. This is something that I made actually over a year ago, almost 2 years ago. And it is just a portable fishing rod holder. Now, I've seen a lot of fishing rod holders out in my day, and there's some great ideas. But what about one that you want to take with you and you want to put on your pickup truck or on your car or your SUV? Actually, I made this from the get-go for my SUV that I'm selling to my daughter. She'll be home in a little while, and if we get a chance, we'll go ahead and throw it up there. So the dimensions are basically for the, a matter of fact, there she rolls up right now. We'll show you that in a few minutes. But this particular rod holder is something that I wanted to use so I didn't have to stick them inside of the SUV, but I found out that it's working for my truck too. And there's actually 3 different ways that you can actually go ahead and mount it in your truck. Let me show you the first way. Well, first of all, let me actually show you the rod holder. So as you can see, it stands about 57 inches tall, it's about 32 inches wide, and it holds up to 6 rods. Now, if you want to put this on your pickup truck and put it in the bed and mount it in the ways that in the configurations I'm going to show you, you can do that too. So you can make it wider, right? But this is what just happens to work best on the luggage rack on the SUV. So as you can see, there's 4 corners and there's 4 T's. And the way I set it up, the reason I set it up this way was so it had the rigidity but also the lightness. Now I also put the noodles on the top, in the center, and down on the bottom. Now, one thing that I discovered about this particular setup is, after I took it off and went to put it on my truck, was I got some onshore fishing rods, because I do a lot of saltwater fishing here in this area, because we're on the Crystal Coast, right around Jacksonville, North Carolina. And what I found out was those longer shore rods have a longer butt on them. You know, in other words, from the reel, they extend further. Now, the only difference I would have made in the construction of this particular one was, instead of buying the rod holders directly from Walmart, I would have went ahead and got more PVC and larger PVC, about 1.5 inches, 1.75 inches diameter, to go ahead and extend it so that I could put it up against the butt the ends up against the back of the truck. But that's okay, because if you do have, you can let them stick through and fasten them in, just making sure that it's even and it stands up straight. But anyway, let's get back to what I was going to show you about the 3 different ways to mount it, and the importance of using the noodles so it doesn't mess up any of the paint on your cab, or on the top of your SUV or anywhere else, because I also had sunroofs on it. I didn't want it scratching up the glass, right? So let me put this on the truck and I'll show you how I do it. It's a very simple process. Even right now, as I'm pushing it back, it's not hurting it. It's not going to mess up with my tonneau cover. I happen to have a hard tonneau cover. It actually came with the truck. If you have a soft tonneau cover, but you have the supports in the center and at the end of the bed, closer to the cab, that'll work also. Not a problem. And the nice thing here is, with the hard tonneau cover, is that I can actually open up my tailgate and drop it and not have to worry about it. So I still have full access. I'm just going to make sure I don't poke myself in the eye. One of the ways that I do this is that I will take the tonneau cover and slip it back about 4 to 5 inches, like so. The reason being is because there are hooks on either side, right in front of the tail lights. I'll give you an example of it now. Run this right over the top, down to the other hook on the inside, Scratching it down. And we're good to go. Obviously, you're gonna see, even that's not super tight, but what I've noticed is when it's wedged up against the back of the truck, and you have the noodles and everything protecting it, or you can actually put an extra noodle back there if you want, and it's not gonna go anywhere. It's not gonna, it has a little bit of flexibility, but it's not gonna fly off, is what I'm saying, right? So another way you can mount this is like so. You can use the same configuration, but this time we're going to take the tonneau cover all the way back and drop it down inside. There goes the net. Once again, use the same configuration with your tie down and let it rest right there. So now the poles are angled upwards. Again, if you want to, if I'm going to do it this way, I have extra pieces of the noodle that I'm going to go ahead and put in here and protect the bed. However, it does have the plastic coating on it. I'm not real worried about it. Now my net's nice. All right, we'll get that. So the third way that you can do this is pretty interesting in itself for a pickup truck. And it's this. It gives you even more room in the bed of the truck. As you can see, it's pretty much standing up. You can angle it to whatever room that you need to put in your cooler and everything else in the back of the truck. And it won't be a problem. Now the cool thing is, if you do lean it forward, once again, you have those noodles to protect your paint. But this is the part that I love the most. Watch this. One-handed. And all we have to do is take it off the truck and store it. What better way than to take your favorite rods with you and not have to mess with each individual one. They're not going to get banged up. They're not going to get tangled. You don't have to worry about the hooks and the lines getting messed up and everything else. You throw it in your garage, or your temporary garage like I have here, or in my real garage if there's room. It's a great setup. So now, let me show you what it's like on the top of the SUV. Now this is what she looks like sitting on top of the SUV. This is a full-size SUV. However, like I said, depending on what you're driving, as long as you have the luggage rack on top, the side runners, is not a problem that you can actually go ahead and put it on the top. Now let me give you a top view so you can see what I mean. Here it is. That's the very back. It's back up against the antenna. If you have those longer rods like I was telling you about, they're going to extend past that and not be a problem. But as you can see, I left myself a little bit of room in between And you can actually move this forward or backwards, whatever you want. And it's gonna fit perfect, because you're gonna custom make it to your particular size. And of course, some of my 12-foot rods, they'll be hanging over top of the front windshield. But in all honesty, like I say, all you have to do, whether you're on the truck or on here, is get a fastener, like bungee cords, to go from here on either side or the whole way across to keep it in place. And if you look, the antenna is going to keep it from going completely backwards off of the vehicle. The bungee cords are what hold the rods on right in front of the rod holders themselves, and here in the front. All I did was install some eyes for them. So the total cost of this whole makeup was probably 40 to 45 bucks. It doesn't matter whether you fish in the saltwater or lakes, rivers, whatever else. If you want an easy way to take your rods with you, your 6 favorite, this is the way to do it. If you want to take more rods, make it wider. So anyway, that's all I got for you today. Y'all keep them straight up there. Check out the next episode of Raw Life, because I got another fishing holder for some of you guys that like to go to different places. But this time, it might be a little bit easier to carry something up to 5 or 6 rods. And that's coming up next on the next Raw Life. Y'all keep straight up there. See ya.